Border Barrels back for another podcast. We're talking finals footy and we're deep into it.
And there's, 2 days ago there were 4 teams and now there's 2.
Yeah, bloody oath. And I'll tell you what, the first final, that was really interesting. It's probably the way I thought it was going to go, if we're completely honest. So there are 2 contrasting games. The first game was just bloody showing who's who in the zoo, and then the second one was just bloody classic finals footy between, 2 really good teams. So we'll go through the first game first because that was, I don't know, it was interesting. I was glad because I really liked Brisbane until the Zorko thing, and then I'm like, righto, enough of yours. And then it looks like the leadership team didn't really stand up under the pressure there.
Well, yeah, I was thinking you were going to set it up and then we play the intro and get into it, but go for it.
I'm straight into it.
Not interested. Bloody, I don't know what Brisbane were doing. I saw statistic-based. Lockie Neal was the only bloke for Brisbane to have 20-plus touches, and he had 20.
Yeah.
Which is abnormal for Lockie Neal, but I wonder if it's more of a reflection on the state of Geelong than the state of Brisbane.
Possibly.
Brisbane kind of, they rode the wave. First final, they beat Richmond up in Brisbane.
Yep.
And then they got a win against Melbourne, who I think we thought about when we were coming into the finals that we were like with Melbourne that they're still the best, but they don't look like they're going to get there.
No, yeah, that's right.
Back to their best, and that was well and truly shown against Brisbane. And then they just came up against a very good Geelong.
Yeah.
Like, they're just well drilled, but, like, there's just, like, you can't see avenues to beat them. You know what I mean? It's like, if you go long into the forward line, Sam De Koning and Tom Stewart and Jack Henry and all these boys are taking big marks. And then if you go short, Jed Buse, Jay Kolajasny, like they're all playing good footy back there.
Just everywhere you look.
Zach Guthrie's good now.
He's great now. He's been playing bloody almost better than they are brothers, aren't they? Yep, but they've all been playing really well, and Geelong are just one of those teams where if someone's having a shit one, someone else just picks up the slack. Yeah. And Danger had a particularly
incredible game.
Yeah, good game. Yeah. So
kicked 2 of the first 3. I think he had 14 touches by quarter time or something silly.
Which I don't know. I think it really sums up like how good of a player Danger is. So like I've noticed in this final series, Danger hasn't had the best regular season, but he knows what time it is.
Yeah.
DeGoey and like Buddy the other night. Like Buddy last night, he hasn't had the best season. Like, I mean, he's kicked a bunch of goals and whatever else, but he hasn't really been a season-changing season.
Yeah, he hasn't, like, not, I guess, still very good, but not the Buddy we've known.
But last night...
But he's an old man.
Yeah, but last night, I think he really affected the game.
Huge.
So, but I think Geelong have just, wherever you look, there's just so many of those players.
Yeah, I think they're at a really good, like, for this season, I can't speak about what they'll do in the future, but their age demographic for right now is really good. They've got those older heads that are... And they're not just old guys. It's, like, old guys that will go down as some of the top 50 to 100 players in the history of the comp.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Hawkins, Selwood, Danger, Mitch Duncan. Like, these guys are guns. And then you've got the guys in their prime. Like, you've got your Jeremy Camerons. Tyson Stengel apparently is in his prime.
What do you mean apparently?
Well, he got delisted 2 years ago, spent a year playing SANFL, and then all of a sudden he's an All-Australian small forward.
Yep.
And then the young kids, like, it really was hard to see Max Holmes do his hamstring, but he was probably best on ground up until that point.
So I had a question about that, so I will interject. With the AFL, you have to get your feet on the playing surface to get a medal. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they just pick him and put him and sub him on for a minute?
Well, it's funny, like...
I reckon that's just give him a medal.
Yeah, I like the way that
give the bus driver a medal if he's driven him somewhere.
It should be a percentage of games played.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that's the thing, is if you get your team to the grand final, like, wouldn't it be ridiculous if, like, who's just single-handedly carries their team? I can't even think of a player right now. Like a Lockie Neal.
Yep.
And then they get into the grand final, win the grand final, but he missed out because he was did his hamstring in the prelim and they won and he doesn't get a medal.
Yep.
Even though he played 24, 25 insane games of footy.
Yep.
I think it's a bit stupid.
Yep. I think it is stupid.
Like,
and
be
also
a percentage. Like, if you're there on the day and it's the only game you've played that year, you get one because you've played in the game. But, like, they should have extras for, like... And, like, I'm not saying, like, 10% of games. Like, I'm saying, like, if you play 80 to 90% of games...
Well, I don't know. I don't see any harm. It's not as if you're going to saturate the market. It's not as if they're going to go on a bloody speaking tour afterwards if they only played one game.
Yeah.
And make money off it. I really think that that shouldn't be a thing. And it's probably less about the medal and more about the referring to them as a premiership player, and because your career is so short and you only have a certain amount of opportunity to win.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
I don't know, if we go back to NBA, it's like with like Kobe and Shaq. Let's say bloody in the final, like before the final, Shaq does his bloody Achilles or whatever. Well, he's still getting a fucking ring. Like, you're kidding.
Well, that was like that one year that Anderson Varejao played 50. Like,
you've done it again.
Yeah, sorry, I farted.
That's crook as.
Yeah.
My beard's falling off.
Yeah, I'm doing tough ones today.
Oh, jeez, that's tough.
The old weekend diet's been a bit tough.
Yes.
On the old
Diet starts Monday.
But now I've forgotten what I was talking about.
Sorry. We're talking about NBA?
Oh, yeah. Anderson Varejao played like the first half of the year with Cavs. Then they got traded to the Warriors and played the second half of the year. And then they played each other in the finals so that no matter which team won, he'd get a ring.
Yeah, that was the same with Torrey Craig.
Torrey Craig.
Yep.
Yeah, but
last year, was it? Or the year before?
Would have been probably maybe the year before.
Yeah, righto. Anyway, still.
But, yeah, anyway, like, I'm saying more percentage than that because that's a bit silly.
Yeah.
But, well, AFL won't have that problem because they don't have a mid-season trade.
No,
period.
yeah.
But, yeah, like, I don't know, like, you can't... Like, an unfortunate thing happens and you just don't get a medal if you win.
Yeah.
And then you might never get there again.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No, yeah, that's right.
Like, it is rare that teams do it again and again and again. Like, Geelong with prelims, Hawthorn won a few, Richmond have won a few. Like, West Coast have won 2 in the last decade, but they didn't have any turnover. Might have had a couple of players from the first one to the second one,
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, I reckon they should change that.
It's just hard done by to the, like, especially a kid in his, I think his second year on the list, but like first good crack. Yeah, it's just.
Could they do an illegitimate emergency substitution?
Well,
but you
run
just
a
can't,
big risk.
Yeah, you just can't risk it. How many emergency subs do you have? Just one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like what if a dude
yeah
gets injured instantly and then you've got a dude with a bung hamstring?
Yeah.
But the rumours coming out is that he might be okay.
Yeah.
But again...
But not okay enough for a grand final.
Did Geelong take a risk and say he deserves it? Or, hey, you're only 90% fit. We've got all these guys that are 100% fit.
Because straight away, as soon as it happened, again, it's a credit to their recruitment and their listing. They went straight away, and I don't know their names, you will, but they went straight to this 4 or 5 players that, like, they can
Brandon
go straight
Parfitt, Sam Menegola.
Yep, they mentioned those
Cooper
guys.
Stevens.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot. Like, Geelong situated quite nicely for a grand final.
Because the same for them. Like, they're sitting on they're ready. They've been ready all season and whatever else. It's kind of unfair that they don't get a run. So I'm a bit undecided. I don't know. I just reckon he's been so good for him this season.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Brisbane, though, in this off-season. They've got a lot of decisions to make in terms of not just, like, list changes, but do they stick with Zorko as captain? What's his future look like at the club?
Yeah.
Because it's not as though he's a 25-year-old that's made a bad decision and... he's still in his prime of his footy. Like, I think he's turning 32 or 33. So, like, is it a situation where the club says, hey, you're probably coming to the end anyway? Or is it like what's the go with him going forwards?
I think he's too good to, like, delist or something.
Yeah, no, I don't think you delist, but is it like, hey, we're going to move on from you as captain, you'll take a backseat as a playing role and... we'll play it year by year. I think they're going to do that anyway, probably because of his age.
I hope so. I hope they do, and I hope they To be honest, I just hope the best thing that can happen in this off season is that he steps down and says the reason why, and then he said he's just going to focus on footy. Look, I'm stepping down
And really confronts it.
I'm a little bit embarrassed on how I've behaved over the years and blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't deserve it. Rah rah rah. I think that's the best move for him, but he won't. Like
No,
it'd be hard. I don't know.
but
Would I do it? I don't know.
It's a good time for Essendon. Sorry, we're watching the AFLW.
Yeah.
It's a good time for Brisbane now that the finals are out of the way to really focus on managing the situation, because inevitably it'll come up again in the off season. These things always kind of find a way to come back. Especially they've gotten kind of lucky with how good the final series has been. It's because we're so focused on what has been 3 good weeks of footy.
Yep.
It's like everything else has been put to the back burner.
Yep.
Except for Essendon, and they're still talking about them.
Yeah,
Finished
James.
15th, and all of a sudden we're still the topic.
Well, we may as well talk about that. So I was asking last night. I've said a couple of weeks ago they should bring Hurd back, and then they've listened to me. Obviously, they've been listening to the podcast, and I thought, we've got to bring James Hurd back. But I was asking, I was just clarifying. So yeah, he was the coach during the Asada.
Yeah, so he was the coach when
Scandal.
it all went down. But it's hard because you look at there's 2 factions within the AFL community, and it's not even just Essendon fans and the rest. It's like people that think they did it and people that think that they were scapegoated.
Yeah.
Obviously, as an Essendon fan, you know which camp I sit in.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people that I've spoken to that don't follow Essendon seem to be in a similar boat.
Yeah.
So read into that what you will. But in terms of like him now, there's a lot of positives, there's a lot of negatives, but I think there is with every coach.
Yeah.
Like even a Clarko to North Melbourne. It's like, yeah, he's coming to North Melbourne. He could save the club. Like they've still got the list they had that finished dead last.
Yeah.
With 2 wins, they've still it's still North Melbourne. And the thing is, you've employed a coach that not last season, the year before, said, hey, I'm done with coaching.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's back in. Like, where's it all lie? Like, there's positives and negatives to everything. Like, going James Hurd, it's like the negative is like he doesn't have the coaching experience, even though he's done it at Essendon. He's gone away for a long time. He's only been an assistant coach at GWS. He should probably do a bit more in the system, like an AFL system, before he became a head coach again. But the positives are, he's James Hurd.
Well, I was going
to
say,
footy club.
I was going to say he's James Hurd, and that'll always be going for him.
Yeah, is anyone going to bring like the love of the club that he does?
Yeah,
like and as well, like what he went through after the drug scandal shows a mental toughness that not a lot of people have.
Yeah,
and like he went and stayed in a mental institution. Like he had a lot of close friends worried for his safety. But he's kind of come out the other side. He was assistant coaching at GWS throughout the year, helping Spike McVeigh. I think it's funny. People like Essendon don't need a saviour, but at the same time, I think bringing Essendon people into the Essendon Footy Club could be a good thing.
Yeah.
Like I do think we need to have some outside help.
Yeah, well, as I was saying last night when having a couple of beers down Yester, I reckon that their leadership group needs a bit of a mentor, and they don't really have one. I don't think that Ben Rutten. I think he was a coach, but I don't think that he was really that mentor for like a leadership mentor. I think he might have been an X and O's kind of guy, but I don't know that for a fact. But I don't know. I just think it was all foreshadowed at the 150 year anniversary, and Hurd came out and everyone went nuts. You probably cried.
It was like, this is special.
Yeah.
And I think you could see it in the players talking. Like, we didn't get it done. Carlton were a much better side than us.
Yeah.
But, well, for whatever reason, we couldn't get it done. But pre-game, people looked like they gave a shit again. Players, members, fans. Like there was something there that you can like you can look at that and be like, we can build on that.
Yeah.
So like having
Yeah.
the Herds, and then having Herd back, does that bring your Dean Solomons, your Mark McVeighs, like these guys that have been coaches around the league come back?
Yeah.
To former greats get involved. Like I think, and
It's a cool story, and it would be a cool story anyway. And I don't know if is it a Any Given Sunday situation?
I haven't seen the movie.
I don't know. Or what is it? No, Taking Back Sunday is the band. Any Given
Sunday's a movie.
Is a movie, and it's got Pacino in it.
Probably.
And like where he gives that speech that everyone plays at those leadership conferences and whatever else.
Yeah, in the change rooms.
Yeah, about like we are the bloody come together and live as a team while we die as individuals and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And like our mate Donda said last night, it's like it doesn't matter who's coaching, we're shit anyway.
So you may as well give it a crack.
You may as well have Herd, and then everyone cares again.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think they'd still enjoy it. Like, I don't think they're going to get on Herd's back to like, well, no, he's doing his best, whatever else. Anyway, I suppose we'll move on from Essendon there. We'll go. So, first game, they got smashed. Brisbane got smashed by a better Geelong team.
So we better put your favour on.
Well, it is. Oh, Geeeeeelong. I want to meet that person.
We definitely... I don't reckon you do.
Yeah,
I reckon it's the tough. We don't have anything for Brisbane, do we?
No.
I've got a couple for the Pies, though. The not so...
Go the mighty magpie.
Hey, yeah, well, it was interesting. Well, that's a good segue. We're going into the next game, and it was just I don't want to sound like Richo, but it's just a great game of finals footy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
it was.
It was a good three
what was
quarters.
It? 94, 93, 95, 94, I can't remember.
95, 94.
Yeah.
It was the second to fourth quarters were really good, and the first quarter was the reason Sydney won.
Yeah, that's right. They really
killed it.
Yeah, they did. They really did. It seemed like Collingwood were just sort of caught off guard. They didn't know that the game had actually started, and it was just a really quick start. And then they certainly came back, but it was just a really good game of footy.
Well, I think that's why I rated the Swans so highly coming into the finals, was that they like I've said it a number of times, but they give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
They were there from the first bounce. They were like, nah, we're winning.
Yeah,
and they just their pressure and their work ethic and their intensity is just, well, it was unmatched for quite a lot of footy yesterday.
Yep.
Like, Collingwood turned it on to end the game, and as good as it is to see them come back to lose by a point, it's circumstantial.
Yeah.
Like, they're pressing that hard to come back because of how poor their first quarter was.
Yeah.
And that's the thing watching footy, is that all the risks that they took could have gone the complete opposite way, you know what I mean? Like, there's an element of luck in something like that where you take a high amount of risks, and yesterday they just worked.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time they don't, and I think it's not that it's karma, because it's not really karma, but the way it's essentially like a law of averages thing, that they were always going to lose that game.
You reckon?
Well, this year, during the regular season, they were 7-0 in games decided by less than 10 points, and in the finals, they were 0-2.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just go 7-0 in close games like that and continue to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always going to revert the other way.
Interesting.
Where you get the luck against you.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what about yesterday. I know Collingwood, they came back strong, and they were like 7 goals zip.
Yeah.
And they were looking like they wouldn't miss, and they ended up 14 goals 10. So if they had continued kicking as straight as they had of.
What did Sydney end up?
14-11.
Yeah. But I think that was the thing, is that's why I'm saying it was a circumstantial comeback, that if Sydney had a kick straight to start the game,
it would have been over.
There wouldn't have even been a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, it would have been over.
But there was that and the commentator, I think it was on Triple M, maybe not on the TV call, that said as long as Collingwood are within 5 goals, they'll think that they can win it.
Yeah, which is huge. Like, bloody, that's 5 goals is nothing to sneeze at.
And when they say they play 4 quarters, yesterday they played 3 quarters, but a lot of teams, and Sydney showed it, they tend to fade in that fourth.
Well, I'll tell you what, I used to watch the Swans growing up. I used to know every player, so I did follow them then. I don't know them now. So
yeah, you do. You could name 5 players quite easily.
But they used to play 3 quarters of footy every week, and then they just sort of fell off.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Were they so good in the third though that it didn't matter in the fourth, or
Nah.
was this when they were winning?
Nah. Well,
Early 2010s. Is that when they were good?
nah. Well, we all know.
don't
I was
remember.
naming Cockatoo Collins yesterday in the
Oh, yeah.
Essendon team. So and that was
And that
what
was late
1994.
90s, 94 to 98, I think.
That's sort of my era where I
Yeah.
sort of sit there. Anyway,
I don't know if I could name a Sydney player from back then except for Lockett. Was he there then?
I would have to have a look
I
at
don't
it.
know what year
I should
Lockett-
have a look at the list and just see, and I'd be able to tell you a story
What
about all
about
of them.
Mick Martin? Did he play for Sydney at some point? Or was he
Mick
just
Martin
North?
did not play for Sydney.
I don't know.
He was our bloody nemesis, Archer and all those dickheads.
What about Pike? Was there a Pike?
So Shannon Grant played for both North Melbourne and Sydney.
Okay.
Yep, there was
Um,
Pike.
Huh?
Pike did play.
For Sydney?
Nah, I reckon he played for. Did he play for North?
Barry Hall.
Well, yeah, no, he was much later, but
Yeah.
we liked him.
Andrew Dunkley.
Yeah, Andrew Dunkley.
Paul
Bloody
Kelly.
Nick Davis, but that was a bit.
Nick Davis.
Nick Davis. I see it, but I don't believe it. I've just looked it up 1994 Sydney list, and I'll see if I can. If it ever loads, we'll go through it.
Yeah.
Just watching the AFLW here.
We will get back to the Sydney Collingwood game.
We
Sorry,
will.
I don't know if you've gotten. We're like 67 episodes in. If you haven't worked out that we deviate and can't stay on track
Yes,
by now, that's your
it's-
problem, not ours.
Yes, and it's also probably more of a comment to society as it is today. So Essendon 18, Richmond 24, and I just want to say, short and sweet, having a look at the skill level. Like I watched a couple of games last season, and this is only early in the next season.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And isn't it crazy?
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
it's
it's crazy
awesome.
to think this is only Essendon's fourth game at this level.
Yep. It's fantastic. It's bloody the quality of football is it's great, and
And they're getting decent. Like it, the cool thing about AFLW is like, I don't know if it probably says something more about how they can fill out a crowd, but I kind of like that they play at these like smaller venues. It has like a real cool like
yeah, and they bloody fill them too.
like not country footy, but like
Yeah.
the root of footy vibe.
Yeah, it's good, but the quality of football is great. I think earlier on, the thing that really did me in is it was just they would be in this group. Everyone would be in the same spot, and they would follow the ball around. They would just go around in circles.
Yeah.
It wouldn't necessarily be too high scoring, but the quality of football's gone up massively.
Well, and that was
in a
the
short
argument.
amount of time.
That was always the argument when people wrote off AFLW. It's like, yeah, they've been playing footy for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but
Like if you have never played footy before, you trot out there and have a go.
yeah, exactly. And also there
Not
wasn't
that they've never played,
But
but like,
there was an opportunity at the lower levels either. So
Yeah.
But the thing that I always come back to is sort of if I was investing and I was having a look at the odds and that sort of thing, like is this going to do well?
yeah,
You just look at. I think that probably the leading one would be in the modern era would be UFC.
yeah.
Because to start off with, it was tough going, but then it was like main events easily over the guys. So yeah, the quality's awesome. I haven't seen a barrel here yet. I haven't seen a
There was a reverse
an AFL
barrel.
Was there a reverse barrel? Yeah, that's a go. Oh, gee, sorry, yelling. That was almost a hanger. Well done. This game's bloody heating up.
Yeah, it's a good game of footy.
Anyway, I couldn't load the list because bloody internet's not working. But that'll be
Welcome
story
to
for another time.
Australia. We have shit internet.
Yeah, but the game was great. It was.
Yeah, it was
It
really
was tit
good.
for tat there for a minute, and
Well, it went along with what we've come to expect from the final series so far.
yeah,
And I mentioned this when we were watching the game, and AFL people hate me for saying this, but there's just something about like the SCG and the Adelaide Oval that does it for me over the MCG.
yeah. Oh, you were saying that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the MCG. So like, here's concrete. Here's all the concrete we have. Whereas the SCG has the old is it the women's pavilion that or is that what it is, or is it only the women's pavilion on McGrath Day? Jane McGrath Day.
Oh, not too
But
sure.
they've got the old pavilion as part of the stand. They've got, and then Adelaide have the original scoreboard. Like, I don't know, there's just something about them that has like a bit of history to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the MCG is like, yeah, literally like, hey, this is all the concrete that we had.
Yeah.
Look at our concrete.
Yeah, please look at it.
Yeah. There's just, I don't know, the personality of the MCG comes from its existence, whereas the personality of the SCG and Adelaide Oval comes from the beauty of it.
No, I agree.
You've got the list up.
Sorry, I've just
We're
pulled
back.
Yeah, I've just pulled up the 1996 Swans roster, and I'm fairly familiar with this.
Okay, I reckon, give me who you think are the best 5 players from that list,
Oh.
and I'll tell you who I know.
It's kind of hard, but like I remember all these dudes. So Paul Roos was still playing back in those days.
Yep.
Roos. It's bloody Greg Stafford.
Nah.
Anthony Rocker. Do
What?
I remember that? Yeah. Mickey O'Loughlin.
Yep.
Daniel McPherson from Neighbours was playing for them. No. That wasn't it. Plugger was still
You
there.
could have convinced me.
Troy Luff. Derek Kickett was one of my favourites. He was a bloody absolute legend. Paul Kelly. Adam Huskis. Stephen Carey.
Is it
Darren
related
Cresswell.
to Wayne?
Hey?
Any relation to Wayne?
I don't think so. Stewie Maxfield, of course, was there, who I always reference.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it was in there. Anyway, that was an era. Leo Barry.
I am. Oh, he played that long.
Yeah, he was there. He was playing for ages. And that would have been his final season when he took
Leo
that.
Barry, you star.
Yeah, that was pretty much the last thing he did.
Yeah, right.
So bloody Shannon Grant, how good. Peter Philandia.
That's self-fellatio.
No, he bit someone's nut in a contest.
really?
I believe, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So I believe that's, and that was in, I think he'd moved on from AFL footy, and that was in it wasn't gender.
Country footy.
Yeah, it was country footy, and he just had a bit of a nibble on someone's nut. I think he must have got it. He must have
Nibble on
panicked.
Nobby's nuts.
Nibble on Nobby's nuts. He did do that. Poor bugger. Matthew Nix.
Who's the poor bugger?
Jason Mooney.
The guy
from
whose
Wagga.
nuts got nibbled, or Peter Philandia?
No, not too sure. Peter Philandia nibbled the nuts.
Yeah, but you said so, poor fella, but it sounded like you said it about Peter.
No, probably the other guy.
Nut Nibble-E, not the Nut Nibbler.
Yes, Nut Nibble.
Matty Nix coaches Adelaide.
Yeah, well, there you go. Swanee's great.
Nick Nixon.
Nick. All right. Sorry.
Crazy frog.
Ning. Do we have anything more?
Do we have more to talk about the Sydney Collingwood? We spoke about what Brisbane are going to do in the off-season. What do you think the Collingwood have to do in the off-season to make sure, one, that they get back to here, and two, go further?
I don't know. I reckon they just need to keep doing what they're doing, honestly. There's no real changes they have to make. I just think they just keep the group together as much as they can. I think I said early, DeGoey, bloody let him go, whatever. But no, it's really shown that he does stand up in these moments. I don't know what they have to do, but I think they have to try and keep him because he is crucial to the operation.
Yeah, they just need to keep him in. And they've tried to do it with the contract, just keep him in, not keep him in line, but just not do out of the ordinary dumb stuff.
Well, I think it's general.
Go have fun, but what are we doing?
Yeah, but when you think about it, we all have those mates and whatever else, and we know people in our lives that do things like that. It's up to him.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's in the contract because he doesn't care. He's got enough money where he's fine, and it doesn't matter. And that clause in the contract could actually piss him off, and I think it has, more than encourage him to do the right thing. But he has to make a decision that he likes playing footy and he wants to win.
Yeah.
So that's only going to come from him. So that's my advice for you, Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think they have to do too much. I think they have to try and keep him. But yeah, you never know. He's probably one of those ones that's like, right, I want to get traded to Gold Coast, and then he goes up to Gold Coast and he's good.
But he's just doing absolute ridiculous shit.
Yeah. Why did Ablett go to Gold Coast?
I think
Jeez, that pissed me off.
an idyllic, he was had this, within his mind.
He just wanted to bring...
I'm setting something up here.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
And in terms of the way he played, they probably could have, because he was incredible.
Yeah.
But it just makes you think of what kind of career he would have had, and what kind of, how dominant Geelong would have been had he stayed.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. They would have, yeah.
Yesterday, Friday night they mentioned 12 of the last 16 prelims they've made.
Yep.
And it's they've won 3 flags. They could have won 6, 7.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah.
And Like, I still think they're the greatest team of this century.
Yep.
Since 2000, I think that Geelong Footy Club has been
Yep.
tops.
Yep.
Just sustained success. Like, Hawthorn have come up, they've won a heap of they've won 4 or whatever, 3 or 4, 5 maybe, and then dropped away.
Yeah.
Geelong are just there.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Like, they're just always there, and that's just as impressive because we've seen it where it's very difficult to be there or thereabouts consistently.
Yeah.
Forgot what I was even saying. Oh, Ablett to Gold Coast. Yeah, Ben Long's. I think Gold Coast it now has the vibe of like players that are fringe players at their club. They're like, I will play every week.
Yeah, that's right.
Oleg Markov, for example, left Richmond to go to Gold Coast. Rory Atkins from Adelaide, and now Ben Long from St Kilda. Like, all these guys, like, I'll play consistently at Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Which is not a great reflection on the Gold Coast and where they want to go, because like those guys that they've drafted, like Isaac Rankin wants to leave. He wants to go back to Adelaide. And
because the weather sucks.
Yeah, it's too hot.
It's
too humid.
It's too humid. Get out. I hate it.
But yeah, in terms of Collingwood, I think they do need it. They need a key forward.
Yep.
That's their big thing. That's where they're lacking. It's like the Brody Myercheck is not bad, but I don't think he can be your number one key forward. Apparently, they're bringing in Dan McStay, but is he similar? Like, it depends on the value you put on Dan McStay as to whether you think that's a good or a bad decision.
Yeah.
Oh, Essendon have kicked a goal here. It's a point the difference with a minute left.
Oh, how good.
I think they're pretty much fine everywhere else. Like, the Taylor Adams being out is probably a big thing. Like, is that a reflection on, do they need more reliability in their midfield, or is he someone that they can get his body right and keep going? That's a question they've got to ask. And then the Brodie Grundy situation. Like, yesterday they got absolutely fucking pumped in the ruck, and they're so keen to get rid of Grundy, yet their glaring and obvious flaw yesterday was a ruck.
Yeah.
And they have one of the 3 best ruckmen in the comp.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it's
interesting to see what will happen there.
Yeah, I don't think they're in a bad position. I think, I've mentioned this a few times, like, people saying, 17th to a prelim. And it's like, yeah, but the 17th was the outlier.
Yeah.
Like, they've retained a lot of players from a year that they lost the grand final.
Yeah, but I reckon it's exciting times because bloody McGinnivan. How good?
No, just Ginnivan, not McGinnivan.
Isn't it?
Nah.
Jack Ginnivan. That's right. Sorry.
Jack Ginnivan.
It kind of sounds like an Irish name. McGinnivan. Anyway, sorry. I've had a few beers.
Like, if you're a
Collingwood, he's great.
If you're a Collingwood fan, he's great.
Yep. What about, just want to spend...
Don't like the bloke. Oh, not that I don't like the bloke. I don't know the bloke, but I don't like the way he plays footy.
Yeah, but he's a small forward. He's got to get up your bloody nose and that sort of stuff. Maynard.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just don't love watching it.
No, fair enough. Maynard yesterday was crucial. He was stirring Buddy up when he was trying to get.
He was having a crack at him, and then Buddy gave him not a bath, but Stephen May kept Buddy to 3 touches, and Braden Maynard kept Buddy to 3 goals.
I know,
there's a difference.
I know, but I could see what he was trying to do, and he just had to really go for it. And he was trying to wipe the baby oil off him, all that sort of stuff.
It was a weird process.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was. I feel like it kind of bordered on the point, when someone's doing something and you're getting annoyed. I feel like that one was like Buddy was like, this guy's a bit. Something's going on.
I'm sick of this guy.
Like, this dude's brain's not really functioning, is it?
Yeah, oh well, and they did win. But so the final next week.
Geelong, Sydney. At the G, MCG.
You can't go past Geelong, really.
Well, I don't think you can.
No.
And I think I'm looking forward to it because it will be a good game of footy. Everyone's saying, that Geelong are going to pump them. I don't think is true.
No.
It could be because Geelong are that good.
Yeah.
But I think just the way Sydney play, they won't allow that.
Yeah. They're very fast.
I'm really looking forward though to it because I think Hawkins, Paddy McCartan's obviously a good news story from the year. He's going to have to play on Jeremy Cameron or Tom Hawkins.
Yep.
And is that a job that he can do?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It'd be a big ask, Or you just hope you've had your wheat bix on the grand final
Well,
morning.
you're going to have to...
But you never know. It's going to go one way or the other. So all you can do is give it your best.
Well, it comes down to one game, doesn't it? As they always say.
And speaking of giving it your best, that the last couple of minutes of that game was pretty good, Essendon and Richmond. So Richmond ended up getting up. They kicked a goal in the last bloody minute.
Did it count?
Well,
They haven't added it to the score.
yeah, but Essendon weren't they up or not?
No, Essendon were 2 points down after, and
okay.
then Richmond kicked a goal.
Oh, there you go.
But, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm looking for...
Classic.
Yeah, looking forward to the grand final. And, don't want to cross-promote here, but we'll be at the Good Shed doing a bit of a podcast.
What do you mean you don't want to cross-promote?
Well,
we do.
I guess we do. Yeah, we're going to be at the Good
Not
Shed.
fuck anyone in particular, just fucking give it.
Yeah,
give it to 'em.
feed him. We're going to be at the Good Shed live doing we'll do a bit of footy, we'll do a bit of beer, but yeah, we're hanging out with Stomping Ground Brewery. Someone from there, hanging out with Ryan from Good Shed.
Yep,
and whoever
coming on.
Oh, I reckon we'll get him on. We did stir him up last time, and he's real nervous about it. But we don't even know.
We're nothing.
We got no idea.
Just come and chat.
Yeah, come and have a chat. But I think that'll be pretty cool. We're looking forward to it. But yeah, I reckon my guess for next week is
Geelong.
oh,
Hey. Yeah, I think Geelong as well.
Yeah.
And that's not because we don't have a Sydney soundbite, but because I think Geelong will get her done. But I am looking forward to a really good game because people like Zach won't like this game because he's a Hawthorn fan, and historically Geelong and Sydney are probably their two big rivals, especially of recent history. But I don't know how you can not look forward to it.
Yeah,
you've got Buddy competing for another flag. Sydney looking to climb the ladder again, so to speak, after what was an awesome 2010 to 2020 period for them. The young brigades coming through, Chad Warner, Braden Campbell, Errol Goulden, Logan McDonald, Tom and Paddy McCartan, like all these guys, Nick Blakey. And then on the other side, you've got Geelong, who are looking to cap off what, as I mentioned, one of the greatest, the best team of this century. How long left does Joel Selwood, Tom Hawkins, these guys have? And my biggest storyline is, because I want it to happen, I want Danger to win a flag.
Yeah. So he hasn't won yet?
No, he's never won a premiership.
Well,
especially after reading Eddie Betts' book, the way he speaks about Patrick Dangerfield, I think for the people that don't like Patrick Dangerfield, I would recommend reading and just seeing the type of person he is in a non-footy sense. It's not extensive. Like, he's not doing a chapter on what Patrick Dangerfield is about, but just in the short snippets of their interactions as teammates at Adelaide and then as opponents once Paddy went to Geelong. It's just, I think people get put off by the fact that he says what he thinks in the media. And people don't agree with it. Like, no one agrees with everything ever. But yeah, I don't think you can deny how fucking good he is.
Yeah.
God, he was good on Friday night.
Yeah, bloody oath he was. And
I do really love the bloke, I think.
Yeah. I really think this matchup is kind of like present and future. Present versus future. And I think present is Geelong. And I think the future is probably the Swans, because they've got a lot of, as you said, the young brigade is coming through, and I think they'll be around for a long time to come.
No matter the result, I think Sydney will be back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it won't be the last you've seen of them.
And if they don't get back, it'll be at their own kind of, not fault, but it'll be their doing. Like, they have all the makings of perennial winners.
And bloody, what's his name? Longmire?
Yeah.
He's having a sneaky bloody good coaching career, isn't he? He's been there for a number of years. 5, 7? More, yeah. That's one of the longest reigns of bloody coaching that I've
current coaches.
Yeah.
What was he bloody
longest tenure?
Original team, Colorado Rutherglen.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either. How good.
Bloody
Johnny Longmire.
Border boy.
Yep. Often mispronounced as Longmuir, I believe.
There's a Justin Longmuir he's the coach of Freo. Okay. Whether you've heard it.
Oh,
and they've just been a
we
Freo
all know
game.
fucking probably that's what
But since 2011.
Yeah, that's ages. That's one of the longest coaching reigns ever.
Yeah, 2012 premiership coach at Sydney, and he was also the in the 1999 North Melbourne team as a player.
Yeah, I know. Huge. Bloody hell, how good.
Go
Righto.
on the horse.
Well, that's it. Border Barrel's done for another week. Next time we talk to you will be at the Good Shed.
It'll
talking
be
about the grand final.
Our grand final too. We might have a couple of weeks off, I think.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, I agree with
Big
that.
silly Sunday and Mad Monday.
Yes, well, it'll definitely be bloody silly Saturday for sure because we'll be lit up from all those.
We'll
stomping
be trying
ground
some stomping
situation.
ground baroos.
We will be stomping on the ground, no doubt. All right, Border Barrel's out. Kick a barrel
Enjoy grand final week.
and drink.
Brownlow tonight. We didn't even talk about it.
Nah,
Clayton Oliver.
surely.
That's who I'm putting my money on.
All right, done deal. Bye.
Bye.